get started here. It's 10 o'clock. We want to be sensitive of your guys' time because I know it's hard to commit, a chunk of time out of the day to something like this. So we want to make sure that we make it valuable for everyone. But like we said, we'll go through the marketing toolkit. My name's Steve Musser. I'm the director of sales and marketing here at Wow Video Tours. And I've been with the company for about 6 years now, and we're a big thing on our mind. For those of you that don't know, is we have core values that we live day in and day out by, and our number one core value is clients are our number one priority, and so everything that we do is kind of fixed around that. And so that includes just giving you guys the tools and anything that you would need or possibly could use to make your lives a little bit easier, market your listings a little bit better, whatever the case would be. If we can be a good partner in that aspect, that's what we're here for. So that is kind of what brings us in today. So we launched our new marketing toolkit that over the last couple of weeks, and it gives you a whole slew of options as far as marketing your listings out there as easily and as effective as possible. So we'll jump into that here. I'll hand it over to Tessa, who's our marketing and design manager, who really was the brains behind this. She's the one that incorporated the templates and put everything together. So I just wanted to kind of give her a brief introduction, but I'll pass it over to you, Tessa.
All right, so hi everyone. Again, my name is Tessa Schmank. I'm the marketing design manager here at Wow Video Tours. So for those of you, if you've ever seen it before, we've had the marketing toolkit for a few years now, but it was very basic in the beginning, and we kind of had this idea in this late winter and spring that we need to revamp it and bring more to you guys so that you can use it and utilize it, which includes reels, flyers, postcards, and whatever else we can think of course. And then I went ahead with the help of Todd, and we made some very interesting and eye-catching designs that you guys can utilize for your marketing. So without further ado, I think I will share my screen.
And Tessa, while you're bringing up the screen share, just to let everybody know, if you guys have questions, Tessa will go through kind of the marketing toolkit, how to use it, and just the essentials of that side of things. But if you guys have any specific questions, feel free to throw them out in the Q&A or the chat, and we'll make sure to hit up on those as we go here. There we go.
Okay. Should be, there we go.
Yep.
Okay, so to start off, when you guys log in to your client portal, this is what you see. And when you want to navigate to the marketing toolkit, we're going to go to listings. And then we have this nice little icon over here that says open the marketing toolkit for your listing. From here, obviously your toolkit will be here, and we have all these new templates in here, as well as some old ones, some classic goodies. We have flyers organized by flyers, postcards, social media reels, as well as social media tiles. So I want to touch real quick the difference between the tiles and the reels. The reels we made video, so they will download as an MP4, versus the tiles will download as a PNG. It is a static image. There is no movement. I will start off with, let's say, a flyer. So what's new in here is we've got some fun new goodies. You have much more creative freedom. As a designer, I love it. So I hope you guys do too. Before it was like, okay, you could maybe edit the text and that was about it. Now you can change the font, the sizing. Let's say we wanted this to be bigger. We can move it around, delete if we didn't like it. And of course, my favorite button, the undo button. In case you ever make a mistake and feel like you need to backtrack to wherever you were at.
And that is a massive improvement because our first version of this, was a great foundation piece for the marketing toolkit, but that was a little bit more limited, like Tessa was saying, to where, you would have a text box, but you couldn't change the font size or the tech or the actual font style or anything along those lines. And it'd be constrained by a number of characters. We knew that in this box you could fit 10 characters, and that's all that you'd be allowed in that box. Now you have free creative reign to put in anything you want. So if you wanted to put, if you had a longer address, for example, on the flyer, you could put in a very long address, shrink the font down so that way it still displays nicely on one line or two lines if you'd like it to be at the top. So
And then you also have the ability, like this one, instead of saying just listed, we have, let's say, an open house coming up. You also now have the ability, want to add to the open house the details. We're going to add a subheader and say it's at Sunday, 1 to 3 p.m. And we have the ability to add that. And as well as change, let's say, this little shape here and make it larger or smaller, change the color for all you Coldwell Banker blue or Keller Williams red. um, and then I really want to touch on the images. I'm really excited about this. So over here on the left-hand side, we have our text, photos, background elements. We're going to click on photos, and right away we see our listing photos for this specific listing. All you have to do is click on the template. This is a placeholder right here, this image, and then go over to the left and click the photo you want. And it immediately just drops it into place, fills the box right here. You also have the ability to, let's change this one to the living room. If you wanted, double click and make it larger inside of the placeholder, as well as move it around.
That will come in really handy if you have a really nice shot of, let's say, a feature, maybe it's a kitchen shot, and they just did a lot of work in upgrading countertops or something along those lines, and you really wanted to highlight something along those lines as far as the improvements that they put into that property. You can select a photo, that's already highlighting that, but then you can kind of drill in on a certain feature if you wanted to, or just make sure that's the center of the frame or whatever the case would be for whatever the unique selling features are for that property.
Yes, indeed. And then I'll move on to right here. We have some fun property features that should automatically fill based on the information that you fill out when you place the order for your photos. But if they are not filled out, you can easily edit that, add your text, even the listing description, add a nice description there. Let's say even right here where my information is a little down on the line and I don't quite like that, I can make it a little smaller and now it fits.
And we did have a question in the chat here. So that they said, will this be recorded? We are recording this. So we will post this out there and we can send a link to everybody for a follow-up. So if you are not able to stay for the entire time, you have to jump in or jump out, or if you just want to go back and review some of this information, we'll make sure that we get this posted here shortly after the meeting, and we'll send it out via email to all of you, and then we'll have it posted publicly for anybody that couldn't join us today. So thanks for that question. Yes, we are recording it, so you will have the ability to go back and view this as well.
It's,
And
um,
one more thing on the property features, just I know Tessa, you mentioned it, but when you place an order with us, we do ask for certain data points, and there's a lot of reasons for that. So we ask for square footage and listing price and things along those lines. Those things, some of it's based on pricing and everything else with the order, but we're also able to feed that information into something like this, so it can populate into these sections for square footage, for example. So just keep in mind when you place your order, if you maybe like round up or down on the square footage or something along those lines, that will reflect on here. So if you wanted to make it the most accurate at the time of order, then it'll be here. But don't fret if you happen to have a number off in that order process. You can always come back in and change any of these features as well. So
indeed. I want to touch next on right here where it says agent logo. This is also another placeholder. So you can go ahead and click on it. And then up here under photos yet, we have agent branding. If your photo, your headshot, your company logo have already been uploaded, they will be here. If you need to upload another one, you can go ahead and click upload images and it'll bring you to your own desktop and you can navigate to select your own logo or headshot that you would like to upload, or maybe a specific different image that isn't already in our system. But for now, we're gonna just put the WOW logo, double click, and we can drag it on center, all done pretty. And then I will note, most of our flyers are 2 pages. So keep that in mind. You don't have to have both pages, hence you have the ability to delete the page if you do not want it. Or we can duplicate it if we wanted to show off that many more images. You can, for all my people who are in Canva and know how to design stuff, this is going to be your best friend. You're going to love doing this stuff and changing out photos or being like, oh, I don't want this many photos. Maybe I want 2 large photos. And that's all I want on the back.
And that is a great point for anybody that that does use Canva. This is very similar to Canva. You'll notice even like the icons and the placement and everything else. So this the nice thing with this is it does automatically inject all of your listing media, so you don't have to worry about going into Canva and uploading, several images, 40 images to get the ones that you want and everything else. It's all right here, ready to go, but it is structured and it operates very similar to Canva. So if you are familiar with that, great. It's going to be very, easy for you to use. Or if not, the nice thing is it is very user friendly to where you can go into a template with these templates that Tessa created. The nice thing with it is they're almost ready to go. You might want to put in your listing description or whatever the case is, but you don't have to go in and spend 20 minutes, changing things around if you don't want to. You have a template that's almost, ready to go. You can save, download, print, and it's good to go from there. But if you want to customize it, you have that ability now to where you can spend a little bit more time and make it your own as well.
Yes, agreed, Steve. Yes, these templates are designed to be, all right, here's everything. It's pre-filled for you, so you don't have to do work. It's very minimal, but for those who actually want to do it, they can. They have the ability to do that now. And then let's say we're good with this flyer. We're all happy with it. If you want to rename it, that's right here. Otherwise, go ahead and save it.
And then when these save, I know it will take a little bit longer on this one since we're sharing the screen at the same time, but um, you do have a lot of features. We can go into more of the advanced features, but we wanted to give you at least a rundown of kind of what it is and how to operate it at first. And then that way you have that information. And then if we need to go back and show you, you have a tremendous amount of capabilities here in the marketing toolkit and these tools here to where you can add elements, you can add, different masks for photos, things like that. So we can go into as many details as you want us to, but we wanted to at least start off by giving you a brief overview of how it operates. And then once it saves, then you'll have the ability to download or share directly from the flyer or from the toolkit as well. So that makes it really nice and easy to, if you wanted to share it to like a printer that you work with, or if you wanted to download it and send it to, an admin or marketing specialist, anybody that you have kind of working side by side, or if you just wanted to download and print yourself, you have the ability to do it right here.
Yes. So I will note, your flyers are going to download as a PDF. So we're going to click on that real quick. And this is how you'll view it. Everything looks exactly how it was in the toolkit. So PDFs download or flyers download as PDFs, so do the postcards. The social media reels will download as an MP4, and your social media tiles will download as a PNG. So we're going to go back and I'm going to show you another template. Let me hear you say sold. This one looks fun. So this one is a vertical reel. You can go ahead, same concept, click on your image on the background and change it out to whatever you choose. Let's say we want to show off the kitchen this time. And then this text, I know this because I designed it, is pre-animated already. So when you go ahead and download this, everything will be already pre-programmed into a reel.
And I know we had some people join after you first started, but as Tessa said early on, the reels have animation and movement to it, so they download as an MP4, and so that's great if you're trying to get it out on social media. The reel format, of course, works well on Facebook and Instagram reels, TikToks, YouTube Shorts, anything along those lines that uses that format. So we wanted to make sure we gave you some media that fits that format, so that way you can capitalize on that using the whole screen in that in those different platforms and things along those lines. And it's just going to help you with the algorithm as far as just getting a little bit more exposure out on those platforms.
Mhm. And we also know that sometimes the square format is still preferred, whether that's in an image or an MP4. So we've made sure we included both the vertical and the square formats in these toolkits.
And then one thing that you do have access to with this as well, and Tessa showed it, but just to kind of highlight it, as you save each of one of these, it does save it in that listing. So the nice thing is, let's say you have a listing that is going live today, or going live soon, and you're creating some material to get it out on social right now, or a flyer, or whatever the case is. It doesn't matter if you go back into this listing 60 days from now, it will still have those saved templates that you did right at the top of this. So it's not like you have to start from square one every time you go back into it. I know right now that the big thing is, homes are on the market a little bit longer than they were a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. So you might have those opportunities to where you have to go in, and maybe you're doing an update on the listing, or maybe you're just trying to refresh it and make sure it's getting out to everybody to market that listing again after it's been on the market for a little while. You'll have that ability, and you don't have to start from square one. You can just pick up right where you left off.
And I'll go ahead and show you what this pre-animated template will look like when we play.
And one thing that we're going to continue to work on too is just continuing to keep new templates, new and get refreshed, templates in here. So that's something that will be nice as well, is that you'll have the ability to capitalize on these right away. And one thing we didn't say, but we should highlight, is that a big thing is this is all available at no cost for any of your listings. Same as the old marketing toolkit, our first version of that. This replaces that and gives you a lot more features, but it's automatically included, so you don't have to worry about any kind of charge on that side of things. It's there for you. We just wanted to make sure you're investing with us to get the media that you need, and we want to make sure that we're investing in you to give you all the tools that you need to get that marketing out there for your clients, so that way you can hopefully sell that listing as quickly as possible, and for as high of a price as possible, and then it's a win-win for everybody in the situation. So that is another thing.
Steve, there was a question about navigating back to show how we got to Reels, how Tessa got to Reels.
Yes, Tessa, if you want to take a step back, we can show them.
Yeah. So when you're in the toolkit, these are organized by what type of template they are. So first we're going to see flyers, then we're going to see postcards, and then we have social media reels. The reels are the MP4s, while the tiles are below that, and those are the PNGs. Those are static images.
And just so, if scroll down a little bit further, Tessa, just to let everybody know. So on the social media tiles, these are static images, like Tessa said. And so one question you might have is, why do you have a real format in a static image? And that is because you can still put those out on those other platforms we were talking about, with TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Facebook Reels, Instagram Reels. The nice thing is you can add overlays on top of it. So let's say you have a nice static image that you create in the marketing toolkit. You can upload that to TikTok. You can add whatever sound that you want with it, whether it's a trending sound, music, whatever the case would be. And then you'd have the ability to add overlays with stickers or animations or anything on top of that as well. So that is something that the reason why behind it is why that's there. And it looks like we had another question. Amy asked, is there a way to see a quick preview of what the real animation looks like without downloading? That is something we are currently working on. I think we can get that in there pretty soon here. So right now, when you download it, obviously you can play it and see it and everything. If you're familiar with Canva and you have the ability to basically go in and play and see the preview, that is something that we are currently working on, and we hope to have out very, very soon on that. That's one of the last kind of layers of the implementation that we're doing on that side of things. So stay tuned on that one, because that should be coming hopefully before too long here.
All right. Is there anything I'm missing, Steve, that anyone else would like to see?
I mean, I think that's the good basic overview. So if you just wanted to kind of take a step back again, I think we had some people join in a little bit afterwards, but just start at the beginning with the portal and just kind of show them where they would get to this again. And then we can kind of go into some of the more advanced features on top of this. Unless anybody has any questions, feel free to throw them out there, but we'll continue to walk through exactly how to use this.
Tessa,
Oh,
did you play the reel? I missed it if you did. I'm sorry.
You're good. I can show it again. One moment.
and I know it's a little slow on the screen share sometimes, so it might have popped up and went away a little quicker than what we saw on our side.
Okay. So this one is just a 6-second video
Oh,
with animation.
Tessa, you might have to share. I think it's shared to the tab and not seeing the video that you're sharing.
That's right. Okay, one moment.
Down on the arrow next to share, you should be able to share possibly the entire screen instead of the tab.
Shoot. Do you still, I'm sorry.
We see your desktop now. It's not wanting to pull the video up for some reason.
Huh.
If it doesn't want to cooperate, I can work on getting that pulled up on my side, Tessa, while you show them how to access the toolkit.
Is it sharing? Is it still showing my desktop?
We're back to the marketing toolkit.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay. Here we go.
And keep in mind when we share via Zoom, it is a little choppy. So it is a nice fluid animation with that. So I encourage everybody to kind of go into the marketing toolkit, after we're done with this and take a look at one of your old listings, even, if you don't have one that's currently active or whatever the case would be. But this is, like I said, this is available for all your listings. So you can go in, you can experiment with it. It's not going to cost you anything. It's not charged per piece or anything like that. We do this automatically included with any listing that you do with us. So the nice thing with that is that you can again, like Canva, and we'll get into this in a second, but if you wanted to make it more of an in-depth video, you can add several slides pieced together and you can have a longer animation. You can do a lot of creative things with that. But the goal with it is that it would be there ready to go without too much tinkering around, and then you can be a little bit more creative if you choose to be at that point. And we had a couple questions come up. Pam and it looks like you had a question about. Oh, sorry, scroll down here. Can we add music to the reel? So the reel itself, correct me if I'm wrong, Tessa, it does not have music by default, right?
No, you go
Okay.
ahead and do that on inside your Instagram or your TikTok or your YouTube.
So one cool thing that you could do with this is that the one, I guess one best practice I would say, and I know Pam and Joy, you're with us as well. If you guys have any ideas on top of this, feel free to throw them out. But one nice thing is if you download a reel and let's say you're going to use what Tessa has on her screen now on TikTok, for example. One thing that you can really capitalize on is using the trending sounds on TikTok or whatever platform you're putting that on, because you're going to get a lot more the exposure on that
Algorithm,
side of
yeah.
things. Yeah, the algorithm really it prefers those trending sounds. So it's a way to kind of get that a little bit more exposure on that. And the nice thing is you can even do voiceover on any of these platforms. So if you wanted to record yourself talking about the property or something along those lines, you could do that. But the trending sounds are always a way to kind of get the most bang for your buck on that side of things.
Mhm.
And we had another question. Can we get some default music for she said, can we get some default music for people like me with no technical knowledge at all? I love that question. So that is something we can explore. So we can definitely see what the options are on that, see if that's anything that we can incorporate into the system. And so as of now, there's no music included, but that is a great question. We can see what the options are on that side.
Mhm.
Steve, that's what we're doing with the single property website. So maybe we just add that capability here.
Yeah, for anybody that is with us right now, one thing that we are hopefully about a month away from is also doing a revamp on our single property websites. And so I'm kind of giving a teaser out there on that side of things, but we've been working really hard to also do a revamp on that. So that incorporates, even as of now, you can add music to the single property websites, but you'll have a new design here shortly as well. But I love that question because we could look at the options on this side of the marketing toolkit as well. And then Lisa had a really good question. So if we took a picture at closing with the client, can we add that pic to a reel or to any of the designs? And I think that's something, Tessa, if you wanted to go in and kind of show with any of those, kind of how we could do that.
Yeah, I'd love to. So again, just going to start from the beginning a little bit. So when you log in, this is your screen. This is what you'll see. You navigate to listings, and all your listings will show up here. And under the listing that you want to open the marketing toolkit, the little icon is right here. So we go ahead and click on that. Or not.
It timed you out, Tessa. So
Oh, rude.
with the platform, yeah, if you're in it for too long, but it should let you continue in the screen.
Okay, so let's scroll down and I like this one. Let's do this one. So in this one is going, gone. Really creative. If you had a photo that you wanted to upload, let's say we want to do the first two of the listing itself. These two look nice. And then the last page, let's say we want to do of an agent. I would go to agent branding and then upload images and choose a local file. Do I have one? Not a great example. I don't have a good photo on hand at the moment. But you go ahead and save it. And go ahead and click and it'll pop right on in. So if that was a photo of you and your clients, that would pop right on in here.
So she just needs to have it saved on her hard drive and just pull it from her hard drive. Is that correct?
Yep.
Whatever
As long
computer you're on, yes. Or if you're on your phone.
computer. Yep, that's exactly what I was gonna say. Computer, phone. Yeah, the nice thing is this is all mobile friendly. So if you're on your phone, you can go in and whenever it comes to design things, I think a lot of times it's easier on a computer just because you have the full screen and everything else, of course. But we did make sure that this does work mobily as well. So if you're on your phone, you can go in and you can access all these features. Again, kind of going back to the Canva relation, if you use Canva and you've used it on desktop or your phone, you'd know that experience is a lot better on the desktop, but it does work really well on the phone. So if you're in a rush or if you're in a hurry away from your computer and you need to upload or create a new graphic for social media, you can do that very easily on your phone at the same time. And that would come in really handy, like Lisa, with your question, if you're, at a closing with a buyer or seller and you want to take a picture and you wanted to upload it, you could almost have it all done right there as you sit. So it makes it very easy and accessible to get that all done as quickly as possible. Awesome. Any other questions? I mean, I know there's a lot of functions in here, and we don't want to go beyond if you have other questions, but we're happy to dig into some of the others with like backgrounds, elements, things like that. If you guys have any questions, we'll answer those. If not, we can kind of dig into those and show you how those operate as well. Or Pam, Joy, is there anything on your side that you guys have thoughts on or questions on or anything along those lines?
Yeah. Yeah, so for our agents on here with us today, first of all, thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely.
But here is where these can be very powerful. Let's say that you went live on a Friday and you had some,
Hello, this is Missy.
Hey, Missy. I think Missy took a phone call. So what I was saying is, let's say you go live on a Friday and you've got some traffic through your listing on Saturday and Sunday, but you don't have any offers yet, and you want to keep that property in front of people. What you can do is you can just continually go into these reels and these social media tiles and you can create new ones and just, really generate excitement for your listing, and just make sure that it's getting out there in front of people. And one thing I know for sure is I think, consistency is really important. It is that you just keep posting with it, and people will get used to coming back to your Facebook page or your Instagram page, or whatever social media platform you're using, your professional website. So there are reasons to keep going back to these marketing materials, even for the same listing, because there are so many options and choices.
Another cool feature that I think this allows any of you to do, and so of course, a big part of your business is taking care of your current clients, but then also leveraging that to get the next client, and so I think that's a big thing with this is you can go in and you can use a listing, create a flyer that you can present to the next client to show, like, look, this is what I do. This is what I do for all my clients. I do these flyers, these postcards, these social media posts, whatever the case would be. So not only is it obviously a huge beneficial or a huge benefit for marketing that listing, but I know you're all trying to use that current listing to get the next listing. So that this is a great way to kind of on both sides of that coin take advantage of that.
Mhm.
Awesome. Any other questions out there? Like I said, we can get into a little bit more, but we wanted to make sure we answer anything that you guys have as far as immediate questions or any thoughts on that side of things. Oh, thanks, Lynn, so much. Lynn just said, I told Pam this at the last event she saw her at, but our services, images, and pics sell houses. So we definitely appreciate that. I mean, that is like I said, it all comes down to our core values. And, if we make sure that we do everything with you first as clients and make sure that we take care of you, then that is helping you with your clients. And then it's just that kind of a domino effect on that side of things. So I appreciate that feedback. That's something that we really focus on day in and day out. I mean, it's hanging on our walls right outside the office here, is our core value. So that's something to I love the feedback showing that is working on your end as well. So great to hear that. And if you guys have any feedback, in general, especially with this marketing toolkit, I mean, never be afraid to tell us because that's how we improve too on our side of things. That's not something, that we can do on our own. Everything that we've done is based on feedback from everything we get from you all. So don't be afraid to send that our way, and we can continue to make everything better and better, and it just keeps everything going as smoothly as possible for everyone. So. Well, I don't see any other questions right now. Tessa, did you want to kind of get into, like, I know that's kind of a basic overview of the template. So you have your flyers, your postcards, social media graphics, and reels. But within each of these, you have a lot of other options too. And so if you wanted to get a lot more detailed or spend a little bit more time customizing a template, maybe you like a template, but you want to change it a little bit to make it your own or whatever the case would be. We went over the basics with changing images and changing text and things like that. But even in the template that you're in right here, Tessa, do you want to show them kind of like some options with the backgrounds, elements, things along those lines?
Yeah, I would love to. So this might be a little bit more detailed for those, but I promise you, if you learn it, it'll be so much fun. I'm in this every day, so I'm pretty used to it, but it's fun to learn. Let's say we can go over to elements and I want to add a shape. We have all these pre-made shapes already uploaded in here. Let's choose this one. And I want to add it to this corner. I can change the color here. Green looks fun. You also have the ability to add a stroke to any of your shapes.
And even going back to color, Tessa, if you click on that color again, just so you guys know, you have the ability you can pick from, right there on the screen. So you can just pick visually off of what color you want, or down below, we do give you the option to add your hex code or the RGB code. So that way, if you're trying to, match maybe your company colors, brand colors, or maybe it's something special that you're doing, you have the ability to do that essentially three different ways on that side of things. So another cool feature just to highlight, because I don't know if everybody does or uses this even in Canva, but one thing that I love is the eyedropper tool there. If you click on that, and then you go over to your image. If you have an existing color in there, and this might not be a great example, but let's say you had other elements that were, you know, a red color or something that you wanted to copy over, you can use that eyedropper, go over and steal that color basically over to whatever else that you're working on. So I think that's a huge kind of hack on that side of things. It makes it very easy when you're trying to add several elements and keep them all consistent on that side of things.
Yes, and then you also have the ability to do transparency, which I personally love and think it adds a little bit of a professional look to a lot of images or designs. It's just adding a little bit of transparency. That's what this A is as well, or this slider. And then I'm going to put it, here's your layering. We're going to move it down below the text, but above the image.
Yeah, I like that. It gives you a little bit more of a layer and dynamic to the design on that side of things. You can get a little bit more creative with how it's structured and everything without you know, overlapping other elements per se. You can put it behind it. So
Let's say we add another, oops, undo button. I want to make this a nice shape for our address, let's say. We're going to put it right underneath the going. And for color, let's do white. And I'm going to add some transparency again. Then we can go on over to text. They have all these pre-made text typography layouts already for you to choose from. If you like one, go ahead and choose it. Or if you're feeling creative, go ahead and just click header, subheader, or body text based on whatever you're using it for. I'm going to drag it on top of this box and make it the same width and add an address.
yep. So it makes it very easy to customize that. Like I said, you can really get as detailed as you want, but that is the nice option that you have that ability now that you did not have before. So a pre-made template, you can go in and create something within seconds, really. Or if you wanted to invest some time in it and customize it as your own, you can spend as much time as you like, and it gives you every tool that you would need to do that.
And then for all your text editing, it's all up here on the top here. We can edit the color again. Let's make it the same color as this other block here for cohesiveness. I want to change the text. I like railway. Let's do that one. I don't like that it's not all on the same line yet, so we're gonna shrink it down a little bit so it is. If you wanted it left line, center, right line, bold, italic, your underline and strike through. And you also have the ability to do line height and letter spacing, which I personally love this too. Line height is for between the lines, so more between them or less. Your letter spacing is the space between your letters at each individual. Make it nice and wide. Say, let's do 35. I'm gonna come back in here and edit my text. And I want, let's say, the line height to be much smaller. And I think that looks nice.
And then,
oops, sorry.
oh, sorry, Tessa, go ahead.
I was going to show some other, there's these effects. You have the ability to add a blur, a text stroke, which is a little difficult to see at the moment. But there you can see it. You can add an entire background or a shadow.
One cool thing I like that is that you can actually add multiple of those, and a lot of platforms don't do that. So if you wanted to add like the text stroke and a shadow, you can do that. So that's kind of nice. Usually, I think even in Canva, if you go in and you try to select more than one effect, it overwrites the previous one. So this one gives you a little bit more flexibility even on top of that. So that gives you a nice advantage on that side to have a little bit more creative freedom too.
Indeed.
And Tessa, real quick, Jay had a question in the chat. He just said, what does the apply mask do? So can you show him the mask with the photos? So essentially, as she's going through this, what you can do is you can take a photo and fit it to whatever shape that you want. And so again, the options in here are almost endless, but you can get creative on that side of things. So it's going to take that photo that you have selected and mold it into that shape. And so that way you can make it into star shape or circle or whatever, like Tessa's showing here as well. And then you can recenter that, reframe that within that shape as you go.
Yeah, that's a fun one. Or if you don't like it at all, just go ahead and remove it. But it's to any shape that is already or element that is already uploaded in this toolkit. Yeah, that one's fun.
Awesome. Can you go back to Tessa and show them just the positioning, like the layering and everything else on how you get to that? I think that's a good one if they didn't catch how you did that the first time.
Position.
Yeah.
Yes. So the position, think of everything that is in and on your design as a layer. So the agent logo, your text, each individual box, your images, those are all items that are layered on top of each other. So this background image, we already have it on the bottom. That's what this to bottom is. But if we wanted to move it all the way to the top, we'd go up and it would overlap everything. So everything would be beneath it, or vice versa. And then you also have the ability to align on position if you wanted it right in the middle exactly, center, that would do that. Or if you wanted it left aligned and to the top, that's what it would do there.
Yeah. I think that's a cool feature too. So that way, I mean, obviously you could always drag and drop any element, but the position for the layering is very useful because then you can determine what goes on top of what, and it allows you to create a kind of unique design on that side of things. And then I think the snapping, like the center line, middle line, things like that, just makes it easy if you're trying to get it exactly in the center of your design. So that way it's not a guess at that point.
And then I will notice or note, when you have an image, you don't want to apply a mask, you have the ability to just, let's say, put a photo on here. And what's grayed out on the sides means it's not on the artboard. Anything that is actually on the artboard will show. But you can go ahead and shrink it or enlarge it and drag and drop wherever you want, as well as change this way and that. Let's say I want to move it to the bottom. And there it is.
Awesome.
And then that will act as a placeholder as well. So if like you decide later, I like where this is at, but I'm not a fan of this specific image, you can go ahead and click on it and then go over to your images and click on a different one. And same features where you double click, you can move and change the crop.
And then the buttons, probably mostly for the reels is where this will come into play. But above each of the slides, the graphics there, you can see there's two arrows. You can basically reorder. So if you wanted that first image to go down to the second image, you can click move down, and it would snap it down into second position instead of that first position. So for the templates, you probably won't want to do that because they're made in a certain order. But if you're creating your own, that would be a nice, if you're using a template and really trying to modify it into a different design, that would be a way that you could rearrange those very easily on that side of things. Tessa showed that next icon over is the duplicate. So if you just wanted to add another page exactly with what you have now, you hit that and it just adds, it basically copies and pastes that page right there. And then you have delete. So if you need to get rid of anything, and then the plus on the right would just be to add a new blank page. So if you click that, you're starting from scratch. It's just going to give you a white page and you can start, adding whatever elements, photos and such that you want right onto that. So that is nice. That does come in handy, like the flyer that she was talking about before. If you wanted to be creative and you have a front and back flyer, but you wanted to turn it into something that you could use for, say, a 4-page flyer, you could do that by either duplicating or just adding new slides and then adding the elements to it that you want. So you have complete control over that.
Tessa, can you show adding a professional photo of an agent to one of these? Because I just think branding is so important. Getting their faces out there for people to see and connect with is just really important. Can you show that?
One of their excuse me, a headshot.
Yes.
Okay, yep. So you have the ability to just click, like if you don't have anything selected and you just click on your headshot, it'll add it right on in to your template and you can move it wherever you want. If you have a specific place you already want it, like a placeholder, like this right here, just go ahead and click on your placeholder and then your image, and it'll fill your placeholder exactly as is. You still have the ability to change it if you need to, make it larger, smaller, all
And
that.
then that's also that gives you the ability, to your point, Pam, is if they, let's say they have a headshot that they like, but maybe in this design they want like a standing shot, that they had done previously or whatever the case would be. They have the ability on this, like Lisa asked before, to where they can click upload any device from their computer, their phone, whatever device they're on, and then they can add that the same way that Tessa just added the headshot that's automatically loaded. The headshot, the nice thing is it's what's already in your profile. So you don't have to worry about uploading that every time that you go into a listing. It's in your profile, it's uploaded once, it's ready to go. And then you can get as creative as you want with adding additional images on any listing that sees fit on that side of things.
Yes.
And I think that's a good rundown. I think the last thing just to kind of hit up on, and then we can kind of turn it over in case you guys have any questions. But one thing that we didn't discuss too much is the resize on the left side. That is a function that's there. Again, it's a little bit more advanced, so use it, if you would like to, but you don't have to use this for any reason. But you can take any design that you have in here. So if you start with a real template, and let's say that you like it, but it's like, hey, now I'd actually like this to be a square format instead. You can go to Instagram post, which is a 1080 by 1080, and it will automatically adjust that into that format. Now, just keep in mind, like what you see here is that the elements are not going to be a perfect fit from going from real to a square format. So you'll have to do some adjustments per se on that, but that is a nice feature. If you're starting with one thing and you decide to take it a different direction, you don't have to start all the way over. You can resize and then just readjust and be creative on that side of things. And we had a question about having a one-on-one call with Tessa. I mean, I think there's something there. It's not something that we have actively advertised out there, but I mean, we'd love to make sure that you have what you need to get listing media out there and everything else. So, what we can do is we'll work on, as soon as we're done here and we have the recording, we'll work on sending that out to you guys and we'll have Tessa send it out. So if you have any questions, then you can follow up with Tessa and we can make sure that we get you whatever you need to make sure that you have all the tools at your fingertips to get marketing out there.
Yes. And Jay, I see your question on, is there a headshot remover, background remover? I believe that is a feature we want to have in here. It's not currently, but we'll see if it comes very, very soon.
Yeah, that's a good question. And for those that don't know, what Jay's asking about, like if you upload an image to Canva, you can select it, you can hit background, remove background, and it'll automatically try to, it does pretty good. It's not always perfect, but it tries to remove anything in the background that may be, like Tessa's headshot, for example, that gray backdrop, it can try to remove that out so you have more of a transparent image to put into something.
I was
So
going to show you real quick.
oh, perfect. Yeah.
Because oh, it's already removed. but that's what it would have done.
Yeah. Yeah, so that feature hopefully we can get put into there in the coming future here. So we'll see if we can get that done.
Oh yes, great one, Pam. The QR codes. So each listing is provided with a QR code that goes to your single property website. Correct me if I'm wrong. And it is right here under your agent branding. It is custom to each marketing toolkit item. So with the listing you're in, that is the QR code for that listing's single property website. You can go ahead and click on that. It'll add it right here and you can shrink it. It applies the same way if you wanted it to fill a spot, a placeholder, you can do that, resize it, shrink it, whatever you need.
And to that point, two things real quick is one, if you have a QR code that's pointing elsewhere, let's say you have your own website that you want to point traffic to, you can upload that image as a QR code and you can put it on any design as well. But to make it even easier for you, we already have the single property website. If that's something that you guys have not explored or utilized before, it's something that it's a great feature, but we are in the middle of revamping it. So it'll be even better here in hopefully the next 30 days or so. But Tessa, on your screen, can you go back to the tab for the 2100 Diller there? The actual, sorry, browser tab.
Oh, yep.
All the way to the beginning, I think, or the very first one, maybe.
I need to sign back in.
I was just gonna show kind of how that looks on here. So when you go into listings, that far right icon on all of your listings is the marketing toolkit. But the one right next to it on the left is your property website builder. So that's actually something that also is included at free with every order. So you get a single property website. And the goal behind a single property website, if anybody's not using it or is not sure what the best use of that would be, is if you're going to be doing anything to advertise a listing and push people to your listing, this is a great resource for that. So it's called the single property website because that's all it is. It's just about this one property and you on that listing. And so the advantage is that, like, let's say for example you're doing meta ads and you're pointing people back to the single property website. They are on this. There's nothing that's going to get them lost. They could always close out the tab, but there's no other action items on this page that will take them elsewhere. It's all focused on you and your listing. So it's just a way to increase conversion rates. So that way you're not sending them to, for example, like you wouldn't want to send them to Zillow because they're literally a click away from the next house with the next agent or whatever the case would be on that side of things. So some of you may have your own websites and that's fine, but I just wanted to let you know that this is what that is. And that's what the QR code links back to is the property website for that listing.
Steve, can you show them where that QR code is located?
Yeah. Tessa, do you still have that open? Oh, sorry. If you go to the single prop or sorry, go over two options to the download page.
Oh, yep.
So you actually have the QR code right here too that you can download separately. So if you're using the marketing toolkit, you don't have to worry about that. But if you're gonna take, let's say you're creating something outside of the marketing toolkit, but you want to point your audience back to the single property website, you can go into this QR code, download it, and you can put it on any other flyer, template, whatever else you're using outside of the Wow Video Tours marketing toolkit. So you just click the button, and if you click on that test, I think it's just a one. Okay, and then it gives you the option to download, and you can download it right to your computer. So again, don't have to worry about that. If you're using the marketing toolkit, that's just external. If you're using it anywhere else, that's the way to get to that QR code. Awesome. Well, any other questions on anything we discussed today, the marketing toolkit, and just those templates, how to use it? We got a couple minutes here. I know a lot of you probably have to get on with your day, so we want to keep it close to as much sorry, keep it as close to an hour as possible. But like we said, we'll send out the recording of this and we'll have that come from Tessa. So if you guys have any questions you think of after the fact or anything else that you would be good to go to Tessa, you'll have her contact information and we can go from there as well. So no other questions? Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate you all jumping on. I know, like I said, it's not easy to carve out time, especially at this time of year, but we wanted to make sure you knew this was available and how to get to it, how to utilize it. We're excited for it. It was a lot of time in the making to get this to where it is now, and it will continue to improve with new templates and new features and everything else. So we are excited for that, but appreciate you guys jumping on. And anything else, Tessa, Pam, Joy?
The only other thing I would add is on that QR code, you can download that code and you can size it to any size you want. You can print it out, you can laminate it, you can put it on your for sale sign. It's got all the information that you add to your single property website. All of it is there for anybody to, to see. And it gives, if you're adding your list price, your marketing remarks, all of that, that's all in your single property website. And it answers a lot of questions for people. And it's really good information to have out there for people to access on their own.
Yeah. I've seen some really creative uses with that. One, like for example, go to the marketing toolkit, create a flyer that you can have printed and out at, say, an open house. So that way, anybody that attends the open house, you can give them something to walk away with. Has the QR code on it, so they can go in and see more information if they need it. But there's endless possibilities, like Pam was saying. If you wanted to put it on your signs or if you wanted to put it on postcards, anything along those lines, that's a great way. The QR code's nice because it's, think of getting a postcard in the mail and it has a long URL address. How likely are you to go in and type that out to try to pull up that whatever they're trying to point you to, whether it doesn't matter what they're selling or anything. Same for you. If you do that, you would have to have them type in a long address to get to that single property website. With the QR code, you can bypass all that. They just take out their phone. Now every phone has the capability, every smartphone has the capability to use those. So they literally pull up their camera app, they just look at the QR code, click the link, and it goes right to your single property website. Oh, thank you, Lisa. I appreciate that. That's like I said, any feedback that you guys have, I know you guys are in the thick of it using everything. So if you have anything feedback wise or suggestions, anything like that, that's what we're here for. We'd love to hear it and just continue to make everything better for you. But thank you very much, Lisa. We appreciate it. Awesome. Well, we will let you guys get on with your day and your week here. So look out for the email coming from us with the recording and the contact information. We'll get that out here yet today. And we look forward to continue working with everybody and answering any questions you may have. Thanks, everyone.
Nice to see you all. Have a good day.
Thank you. Bye.